do what they're doing around the state, and one after the other and after the other. They're not getting paid for this, and they're not asking you to pay for this. What they are asking for is, I know things need to change. If not me, then who? Send me in for the fight. This next person is a perfect example of that. He's going to be running for Secretary of State, and I believe when he does, we're going to be able to see, he's going to have name recognition. We're going to be able to see what a great representative he is. He didn't make it this time, and I believe that there was a thumb on the scale against him because the establishment hates him. He's a MAGA. You talk about a MAGA Republican. You talk about an ultra MAGA Republican. If there were a super ultra MAGA Republican, it would be Marc Thielman. Give him a round of applause, please.
Yeah.
I believe one day he is going to be our next governor.
All right, well, thank you, Rick. Thank you, everybody. You know, we really need to get excited because the word is out. My intention is never to quit. About a week after the primary election, I ended up on Lars Larsson's radio show, and Lars was surprised, and I learned a lot from this. He said, you didn't stop after you lost, and now you're doing school choice and standing up for parents' rights and working to defend children from things like pornography or having to color their favorite genitalia. And this is the message I want for everyone to understand. It's never just one battle. It's a journey. I'm in this battle for life until death does me part. And every single one of you needs to have that sense of fight. Now, what have I been doing since the election? One, I started a podcast. It's called The Good Fight with Marc Thielman. And it's amazing. There are people from all over the country now plugging in, tuning in. And I've learned people are paying attention to this state of Oregon. The entire country is focusing. I just heard rumors this morning that they're thinking about bringing Joe Biden in to support Tina Kotek because things are going so poorly for the Democrats. I think we should welcome Joe. What do you think? And I hope we find out if he's coming and when he comes, because I want to be in the front row saying, hey, Joe. And I mean that. This man is the worst imposter president we've ever had. This is a guy who would rather have us do nuclear war drills than do his job. But he's not alone. Right here in this state, right here in this building, we have a Secretary of State, Shamia Fagan, who is corrupt. You see, the Secretary of State is a powerful office, which is why I'm running for it. Because when this measure would have come across my desk as superintendent, or Secretary of State, I was superintendent, obviously, Secretary of State, I would have said the truth. The truth is, it's so clearly unconstitutional. You do not need a permit to exercise your constitutional rights, ever. Do not comply. Don't comply. If it passes, it will not have the support of sheriff departments. If it passes, it will not have the support of police departments. There's no money for it, and I guarantee you it's an opportunity to not comply. Let me give you an example of why it's important. When I was superintendent, now see, some of you remember, running for governor, I said no to vaccine clinics during school. Thank God, knowing what we know now about how dangerous this poisonous vaccine has become, thank God I said no. As a superintendent, I put my foot down and told the government to pound sand and gave parents their rights back. Thank God, hundreds of students didn't have to miss out at school because mine was open. Thank God. All of that came from people I'm just a regular person, that's how I used to be, saying no. And we're going to say no to this measure. We're going to say no to the abdication and obfuscation of our constitutional rights. And we're going to stand boldly out in the open we're going to say, no, I will not comply. My guns are my guns. I will store them the way I know they should be stored. I will use them in the way I know I need to use them for the protection of myself, my property, and my family. Now, I said that on purpose because that means I've just qualified as a terrorist under Joe Biden's definition. Raise your hand if you're a proud terrorist. It is so good to be around patriotic, constitutional people. The Constitution is no joke. I'm not going to quit. I've got a weekly podcast, tune into it, and I started a PAC called Battleground Oregon. I'm doing 2 other things. We're now going to have 2 school choice initiatives coming up for vote in 2024. Parents, vote your rights back. Parents get to decide where their kids go to school. Parents get to have the privilege of having the ability to move their child around through open enrollment. Those are 2 things that I'm the chief petitioner for. And the last thing is, as of yesterday, last night, Oregon has now had its first federal election integrity case filed in court. Yes. It's a concept that I came up with. I started a PAC to fund it called battlegroundoregon.org. Feel free to go to that website. Feel free to donate. I would love to have thousands of small donors, we the people, using the courts for what they're for, to put a check and a balance on the tyranny of this government. Okay? Just remember, in the same way Brown versus Board of Education in 1954 said that separate but equal school systems create a psychological disparity that disenfranchises children of color, aka African American children versus white children, that you can never be equal when you're separate. That's the very basis of this election integrity lawsuit. The conduct of this governor, the conduct of our county officials, the way they have obfuscated their duty, the way they have created barriers for the public simply from people wanting to canvass and get answers to assure that their county elections are safe and fair. They've done nothing but obstruct, block. It is unconstitutional, it is against the law, and they're going to have a hard time throwing this case out. It's a class action suit. We're representing each and every one of you as voters in Oregon. So let's band together. I'm going to end my speech there. God bless all of you. God bless this country. And remember, we are privileged to live in this great state of Oregon, and we're going to take it back. God bless you, everybody.
The future governor of Oregon.